Big co-main event slot against Henry Corrales. Brandon Girtz, how are you feeling coming into this fight week, man?
I'm feeling great, bro. I'm feeling great. It's a little different this week going down to 45. It's got a new intensity behind it. Really, I'm doing a lot of things different than I've done before.
And is it a tough adjustment? Like when you're here, do you have to make a lot of adjustments on the fly, kind of figuring things out, or did you feel like you still have it down to a science?
I think I got it down to a science. It's different, like I said. This is his first time, so it's different. But I ain't anything new to cutting weight. I wrestled for years. So have I been down to this for a while? No, it's been a very long time since we've seen this mark. But it's all routine. It's just sacrifice and hard work.
Yeah, and I know that you were here cornering your teammate Grant Neal. That mentally, do you think it helped with this process a little bit, coming out here, seeing the way things are done?
100%. 100%. Before that, I wasn't really looking into getting into the fight right now until, this pandemic, or whatever you want to call it right now, slowed down a little bit. I was like, it didn't seem worth it. It seemed like too much at the time, kind of the process. I didn't know what it was going to be like, what you had to do and walk around the mat and all this weirdness. So then when I came here and saw that it wasn't that bad, Bellator's got it down great. It's easy. And then I was jacked up. So right after that week, it was pretty much 1 week later, and I had a fight scheduled.
Did it get you a little more jacked up that Henry Corrales was the one on the name on the bout contract?
Absolutely. Tell you the truth, that's exactly who we asked for. We knew we were going to go to 45. I got, a little smaller through the pandemic. Some of my routines and stuff brought the weight down a little bit, and it was just a natural thing to come to 45. And when we looked at it, we wanted to know who was one of the toughest guys that comes, and they want to fight, not somebody that's out there point fighting, that wants to fight, that I can go out there and fight and, put a highlight on. And this is the guy we came up with. And, I'm not taking away anything from him. I'm saying his toughness is going to be his downfall.
And he was in here a few minutes ago, and he said something very similar to you in terms of like, I know this is going to be an exciting fight. You're not going to run for me. Do you feel like that there's any possible way that this fight could be bad? Do you think fans should have something to really look forward to?
There's no possible way it's going to be a bad fight. I don't feel like I put those on. I come forward, I make people fight, and this guy fights. So there's no way, unless in the last 6 months since he fought last time and all the other times he decides to be a different type of fighter and moves around the cage. I mean, I'm going to track him down, and we're gonna start a fight.
And where do you mentioned the move to 145, obviously. I guess why? What was the thought behind the drop?
It's always been a little thin. Like if 150 was a weight class, that's where I would have been at. I've always been a little bit smaller, 55er, but I was kind of in between that. And then during this pandemic, I wasn't really hitting the weights as hard, something that I've done my whole life because I love it, and maybe it wasn't necessarily the perfect thing for my fighting style or whatnot. And during that time, I kind of wasn't hitting the weights the same. And it was just natural. My weight got a little smaller, and we looked at it, and it were like, maybe this is the time you go to 45. Like I said, I thought about it, but it was kind of like, why? I've never felt weak out there. I've never felt like I wasn't the stronger opponent out there. And it just didn't make sense until I got a little smaller, and then I was practically on weight for 55, and we looked at it and we're like, well, why not try it now? When you're here, instead of trying to bulk up and put weight back on, why not we just go down and we check it out and see how much fun we have at this weight class.
Yeah, and you fought a who's who of people at 155, so is it nice to kind of have a fresh table of opponents?
And you said it there too. We looked at it. I looked at the waters in 55. I fought everybody. Now we're all cool. We're this, we're that. I looked at 45. It's a bunch of new blood. Not just new blood to me. It's literally new blood, younger guys. Some up and comers. I think it has some of the most exciting people at 45, and that's what I want. I want to get excited. I want to go out there and I want to go against guys that are trying to take my head off, and that's what I looked at 45. A lot different than 55. Like you just said, I fought a lot of those guys. It doesn't excite me as much. I've been in the sport for 13 years now. You got to still get excited about it. If you're not getting excited, then that's when you got to start thinking and looking in the mirror, And when I looked at 45, I really got excited, and I'm excited about this opponent, and then I'm excited about a bunch of other ones. So that also played in the factor of coming down and just testing it out with some of these young bucks and young killers.
And one of your former opponents, Michael Chandler, just made the jump to the UFC. What did you think of that move, and how do you think you'll do there?
Good for him. You know, sad to see him go. Since I've been here, that's who I looked at as my competition. You know, I looked at him. I did finally get to fight him, and you know, I got injured, and it kind of is a bad. That's one of the bad tastes in my mouth. That's the guy I honestly, I've looked at since the day I signed and we went and shot the photo shoot in Orlando. That was who I saw. I looked at him. I'm like, that's who I want to fight. And you know, I got my chance to do it, and it kind of under the circumstances sucked, and I still wanted that fight back. So seeing him go was a little bittersweet, but I wish him luck, man. He's a stud, and I think he's gonna go there, and I think he's gonna shock some people. I think he's top 5 talent in the world.
And another lightweight too, your boy Justin Gaethje suffered a tough loss last weekend. Was that difficult coming into your fight week to be on the heels of that, or?
I mean, I use everything to drive me, but yeah, it was a difficult thing to see. You know, I honestly really thought I felt that he was gonna win that fight. Khabib's an animal, you know, we all know that, and he fell at the hands of you know, a once in a lifetime athlete, you know, and it's tough, but I just use that as fire, you know. I use that as, you know, I'm a little pissed off about it, you know. So it's a tough loss, but that dude is a killer, and you know, you just talk about him and Chandler. I think we may see that fight here in the next 1 or 2, 3 fights. That will be a fight we'll see.
And looping back around to a more positive note, your fight, how do you get it done, do you think, on Thursday?
I'm putting this dude out. I mean, I'm going to tell you that every single time I step over here, because that's what I'm aiming to do, those rounds. I'm looking to put my guy out, you know, and that's how I like to fight. I don't see it happening any other way, especially with this guy. He's coming to do the same to me, and we're going to meet in the middle, and we're going to see who can get it done. And obviously, I'm the one that thinks that I'm going to get it done.
Awesome. Well, good luck on Thursday. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Thank you.